This is video from inside one of the white supremacist groups making their ways to Middle Tennessee. The theme of these rallies this weekend in Murfreesboro and Shelbyville, White Lives Matter. So who are these protesters and what do they really want? News Channel 5's Phil Williams has been investigating. Phil, what'd you find?
Well, the main group behind the protest calls itself the League of the South, and our investigation discovered it's a group that we've seen before.
Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us!
This video from a Vice News documentary shows the alt-right groups that descended upon Charlottesville back in August. Among them, members of the League of the South, a white supremacist group founded by Michael Hill, a retired history professor who lives just across the Tennessee line in northern Alabama. And when clashes broke out in the streets with anti-fascist protesters, this one involving Hill himself, League members saw it as a fulfillment of their leader's declaration of war.
There is a war against you, white man and white woman, in the streets of our cities.
At this League conference earlier this year, and on the group's Facebook page that has now been taken down, the League blamed the nation's troubles on people of color.
We've had this war going on now for 2 generations, and it started back with that accursed thing called the Civil Rights Movement.
Well, the groups talk about protecting Southern heritage. What Hill really advocates is a return to what he considers the good old days.
There was a time when the South was white man's land. Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. It wasn't just back there in 1860. It was in 1960. That's right. That's right. And you know what? If it's going to be what it ought to be for us Southern nationalists in the future, and not just for us, but for our children and grandchildren, that's right, we're going to have to make it that again. That's right. We're going to have to make it that again.
Among the group's leaders, Michael Tubbs is a former Fort Campbell soldier who went to prison in 1990 for stealing military weaponry that prosecutors said was intended to start a race war. And this video shows Gallatin businessman Richard Hamblin being punched by a counter-protester in Charlottesville. Hamblin confirms a posting on the group's Facebook page that he's the League's state chairman for Tennessee.
We have the culture we have because it's Christian, not because it's white.
David Jones is a secessionist who says he split from the League 2 years ago when Hill began to veer away from the group's original focus on Southern heritage.
There's so much different things that are from the South that are really great, and that's what was being promoted, and then all of a sudden there was this drift.
What was that drift that concerned you?
It was a drift towards white supremacists.
And sometimes you can tell the enemy because the skin he's wearing becomes his uniform. That's right.
While League members like to portray themselves as victims in Charlottesville, among themselves, they talk about looking forward to war.
In uniform, holding these wonderful, beautiful flags that represent everything about us, standing there steely-eyed, their chest out, saying, "Come and get us." Amen.
So, Phil, after investigating this group, you think they really do want a confrontation when they come here?
If you listen to them, which I have, they say they believe they are at war, that a confrontation somehow fulfills their destiny, and that's why law enforcement will be working so hard this week to keep the protesters and the counter-protesters apart to keep them from getting that kind of victory.
You can almost feel the nerves already around this community.
Exactly.
Phil, thank you.
Okay. Well, now you seen it for yourself.
On people of color.
We've had.
Yeah. You see for yourself. Now the picture you see there, the gentleman there, I remembered him, Michael Tubbs. He's head of chapter of the League of the South. They do have a chapter here in Florida, up in like central North Florida, and I told y'all this last time. Florida has the second largest Caucasian terrorist groups, because I refuse to call them, I don't call them white supremacists. I told y'all I don't like using the word because white is not a nationality nor a race, and there's nothing supreme about these glacier apes whatsoever. But one thing you do need to take notice on is this. And Jason Black had clarified this too. When they descended on Charlottesville, that's also a founder there. This old ass cracker here, next to Tubbs. You know, he lives like in northern Alabama. Now, to anybody I know, I got a few friends of mine from Alabama, Mobile, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Huntsville, North Alabama. That's all Ku Klux Klan right there, straight up. I'm telling you right now. You know, but my point is, you see them with the Nazi stormtrooper helmets on, and got the shields up and stuff like that. You know, they came prepared for war. And this is the one thing, all you cats that's right here flying the RBG flags, that's doing all this stuff, you know, posting your tools on social media, boasting about this and that, or like that. You know, it's best to you may want to go ahead and start learning how to operate covert. You may want to start doing that. You know, but I'm gonna get to that, back to that in a minute. But you gotta have your mind ready for this when it comes down to it. Now yesterday, and Torian Rain had did a video on this. Shout out to Torian Rain on this. That the quote unquote white lives matter. They had a rally I think yesterday. I think it's still going on up in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Let me give you a brief history about Tennessee. I love the state of Tennessee. I've been to Nashville. I've been to Knoxville. And most important, I love Memphis. I love Memphis. I just love that city though. Tennessee is the birthplace of the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan, let me give you a little brief history lesson. After the Civil War, when the Confederacy got their asses handed to them by Ulysses S. Grant in the North, well, not Ulysses though, but you know, nonetheless, I don't know which president, maybe Lincoln, maybe Grant, but the 1865, that's when Abraham Lincoln signed in the Emancipation Proclamation, demanding that all slaves be free, which is so much further from the truth, because first thing first, the Emancipation Proclamation never freed the slaves. Let me jump on this on a lawful tip. All that was a transfer of ownership. You pick up a Black's Law Dictionary, you look up the words emancipation and proclamation. But the Ku Klux Klan was founded by former Confederate soldiers in a small town a few miles southwest out of Memphis, called Pulaski, Tennessee. And these guys were basically mostly like a part of the Democrat Party, and they basically wanted to intimidate blacks as far as doing what they've been doing in the past 160 some years they've been in existence. And we all know the history about that with the Klan. You know, everybody think like in the 90s that they started back up again in Atlanta. No, Pulaski, Tennessee is the town where they started from, because it was founded by Confederate soldiers. I'm gonna tell you why. Confederate soldier, white guy, had seen, when he was at the river, he seen 3 little black kids playing, and I guess one of the kids had like a bed sheet or something, a white bed sheet, and it looked like a ghost, and it scared scared the little kids. You know, they don't know they were playing, and that gave him the idea of the creation of the Ku Klux Klan. Now I'm gonna tell you something about that. The name Ku Klux is Greek or something like that, though. But the symbol they use, y'all may want to sit down and listen to this. The symbol that the Klan use is basically of African origin. Same, no different than it is from the swastika. But I tell you. But they got drowned out and got shut out by a bunch of counter protesters. Oh yeah, by the way, just to let you know, yes, Antifa is in the house. They are there. And you know Antifa don't play around with these fools. Antifa, they shut them down every damn time. And from what I heard, they got ran the fuck up out of Shelbyville, Tennessee. I was looking at video where they would barricade separating them from the counter protesters, and the tactics they used is what they used though. But the thing is, for real, just to bring it back full circle, all you cats that call yourselves quote unquote gangsters and thugs and all this stuff like that, you gonna willing to go ahead and pop your own brother and sister over a nickel dime bag or over a piece of ass, or go ahead and buy some Jordans, or maybe one of y'all probably went at the Apple store right now getting ready to spend $1,000 on a new iPhone 10 or X or whatever the hell you want to call it. I would be using that $1,000 to try to invest in something that's going to benefit your survival. The heck with that. Now, I'm surprised when that possum known as Richard Spencer of the Alt Mice descended on Gainesville. Look what happened in Gainesville. We wasn't having that shit in Gainesville. Although I seen some little coonery going on up there, but majority of the motherfuckers chased their ass the fuck up out of there. We ain't with that shit. And I'm gonna tell you something, like in North Florida, man, like Gainesville, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, you got little pockets of these racist scumbites, just like these jokers here from Florida. And at the same time, they got chased the fuck up out of there. But, these jokers, they're all cowards, but at the same time, they're dangerous. As is not him, not Fat Boy though. This man here, these guys are dangerous because see, they have a platform now where they can go ahead and use that and influence the minds of very weak-willed individuals who basically have low self-esteem, which most of these jokers do. They're talking about saying, one thing I do agree with him, he is right. There is a war against the white man and the white woman, but we're not the ones waging the war against them. It's nature waging the war against them. Nature is killing them out. The war against them is the opioid epidemic. That's what's wearing their asses out. Otherwise, the Orange Fuhrer, Hobgoblin 45 on his damn back glider, he calls the twit glider, because he loves to tweet, is already diverting funds from other departments and stuff and all that just to go ahead to fight the opioid epidemic, because that heroin and the meth is taking them out. Oh yeah, let's talk about white on and so-called quote unquote white on white crime. When I did the video showing y'all, giving y'all a link to the 2016 FBI crime in the U.S. Crime stats, tables 21 A, B, and C. Okay? And y'all seen it right there for yourself. See, it's a lot of things. And plus, let's talk about the sun. Let's talk about inbreeding. Let's talk about all that. Decline of births, of white births. You know, so when they talk about white lives matter, shoot, how the hell something that doesn't even exist? White isn't even a color to begin with. It's nothing. It's void. Okay. It's nothing. It's zero. It's like the number zero. So zero really doesn't matter. So when you talk about white lives matter, what are you talking about? I say the same thing too when it comes down to black lives matter, because like I say, you know, black like white, that's not a nationality nor a race by law, by constitutional law. Okay. Noble Drew Ali always tell us, man, you know what I'm saying? You come back into, you know, proclaim your birthrights, reclaim your nationality. Reclaim your birthrights, proclaim your nationality. You know what I'm saying? You know, we all part of the same family of nations. I don't give a damn, like I said before. If you're a Nation of Islam, if you 5%er, Hebrew Israelite, RBG, Garveyite, Pan-Africanism, Moorish American, Moorish Aboriginal, Moorish American National, being of Cherokee descent, which I am. You know, we all Moors. And they know it. Trust me, they do. You got some of these same fuckers that are teaching classes in our universities and in schools, public schools. You got some of these same fuckers that are police officers. You got some of these same fuckers that are DAs, that are sitting in the judges' chambers, as Professor Truth and Jason has always talked about. Okay, you got some of these same jokers that's sitting in the GOP, you know, the new GOP, which is the gross orange puke party. You know. So you got to understand, plus they have other jobs and stuff. They probably CEOs of companies that won't even hire you, me, or anybody else like that. And I'm going to say something too, to all of you Latinos, you know, yes, I'm talking about Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Mexicans, Colombians, Brazilians, Ecuadorians, all y'all that want to try to pass for want to be accepted by them, look, they already showed you. Hobgoblin 45 has showed Puerto Rico what he thinks about you. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. See, people, we got to start doing, man. We got to start going here, put our differences aside. Whatever little petty shit you got, put that shit aside, and we need to start coming together. We need to start coming together. I've been seeing that a lot now, and we got to start going here, and we have to hold our own nuts. Everybody else got to hold their own nuts. Because when you got dangerous motherfuckers like this, and then you seeing shit like this, you seeing fuckers like this. This better be happening like that. And I know in Tennessee, shoot, and my main man, Crown Soldier, shout out to him. That I know they ain't playing that shit up there, because that's in Shelbyville, if I'm not mistaken. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like, is that near, far from Memphis or what? I'm not exactly sure. But like I said, I mean, Tennessee, to me, it's a beautiful state. I love going through this Great Smoky Mountains when I'm there. Memphis, they got that's that Southern hospitality, that down south home cooking. I mean, yeah, that's basically like that. I mean, I'm in Florida and I'm further south than them, but at the same time though, I could relate. You know, whether you from Memphis, whether you from Houston, whether you from New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Little Rock, Tulsa, shit, Mobile, Birmingham, Atlanta, the Carolinas, Charlotte, all that, everywhere. Sure. Love my southern roots. My thing is like this, people. You better start opening your eyes and start to understand something. I mean, white lives matter. And black lives matter. Because they always assume that every black person that speak out against injustice and all that, they always gonna assume that we're part of, oh, you part of Black Lives Matter and all that. I don't even claim them. And like I said, white lives matter, black lives matter, man, please. All lives matter, please. All three of that shit is a bunch of garbage, to be honest with you. Because the terms white and black doesn't identify race or nationality. Shoot, even with some of the people of the Asian community who stood behind the people in Ferguson, and they still do to this day, they call themselves Chinese Lives Matters. They said Chinese. They didn't say Yellow Lives Matter. Same thing with a lot of the quote-unquote Native Americans. They didn't, you know, they didn't say Red Lives Matter. Think about that. And think about the terms and words that you use, because words are spells. And if you're not careful with the words you choose, you might fuck around and cast a spell on yourself instead of using that word, them terms for the intended purpose for. And that's why these fuckers here got ran the fuck up out of Shelbyville, because the tactics and the words were used. They couldn't handle the shit. Words are spells. Remember that. That's all I got to say when it comes down to that. Let me know what y'all think about this. Fire away in the comment sections. Subscribe, share. Also, you know, click the notification bell. So that way when I upload new videos, you get it. Also, as I stated before, yeah, I set up a little link to my PayPal. You know, if you want to donate, you can donate. It'll be greatly appreciated, as I love going ahead and putting these videos out. Although I may be a little bit limited for the time being. But as soon as I get the headquarters finished setting up and all that stuff like that, I'll be back full. I'll be on full stream. That's all I got to say. Enjoy y'all Sunday. No more talk. I'm done.